Dr. Burkhard Foster, who I'm sure you all know is a university lecturer for Monash University and their local mathematician. And he is here today to do his presentation, The Secret Life of Soap Bubbles. Round of applause. Museum Victorian teacher that you do have free entry to the museum after the presentation today.
That's great. Okay, right. We're going to the museum too afterwards, right? Are we going? All right. Okay, yeah. Thanks all of you for coming today. Not going for the marathon or whatever. Let's see. So we've got four lectures this year in this series, and we're up to number 3, Secret Life of Soap Bubbles. It's actually a repeat from 2002. 2002, we did this already. It's actually one of my favorite lectures or presentations. The only problem with it is it's very messy, and it always takes like 5 hours to clean up afterwards, and it takes 5 hours to set it up, and so you don't want to do it. But anyway, it's a lot of fun while you're doing it. So we've got and we're going to do 2 different things today. I'm going to let you in on some of the secrets of soap bubbles. And there's the fun bit, and then there's a mathematical bit. So, I mean, you've probably all played soap bubbles, and just in case you haven't done it for a while, I recommend you, just get out the dishwashing liquid and try it again. And one of the things I'm going to do today is I'm not going to use any special kind of soap solution. What I'm using here is just Morning Fresh and some glycerol. So everything that I can do here today, you should be able to do at home. In fact, you should do it a lot better, because if you leave the air conditioning off, it's actually going to work a lot better than in this theater. Anyway, just to get the excuses ready, right? Okay, so these are my 2 assistants. As you can see, they're pretty, enthusiastic about this whole thing. So, I mean, if you've got kids, and you haven't played with soap bubbles yet, after this talk is definitely the time. Okay, then there's something else happening here. Something that I'm doing a lot, which is I'm a specialist in the capturing and bottling of mathematical souls. So, what is that, right? In nature, when you actually have a look around, you see a lot of things happening in a kind of an optimal way. And, well, if you have a close enough look, you may actually be able to kind of get out the soul of what's really happening here. The soul is usually a mathematical soul. So you capture this soul, cut it into tiny little pieces, torture them individually, right, until they do exactly what you want them to do. Then you put the whole thing back together again, and that gives you a mathematical soul that will solve all the problems in the universe for you. Right? So I'm going to show you how to do this kind of capturing of souls in the case of soap bubbles. Okay, so whenever you take a soap bubble bath, right, you fill the bathtub, you put the soap solution and you jump in, right, no water left, but soap bubbles. Yeah? When you see that, there's a lot of really good stuff happening. There's a lot of really good stuff happening. For example, if you just take one ordinary soap bubble, so just one ordinary soap bubble, that already does a lot of really good mathematical things for you. So you take, just a wand from somewhere, and then a straw, and then your trusty bucket with soap solution, and then you can. So basically, what you're doing here is you're putting some air in a container, right? And that container takes on a certain shape. In this case, it's going to be a sphere. Why does it do a sphere? Well, the soap film always tries to be as small as possible. Very much like there's a surface tension at work here, surface tension. The surface tension always tries to make the soap film as small as possible, as it can possibly be, okay? And when it does that, it makes shapes into shapes of least surface area. So you're enclosing a certain volume of air in a container, right? And you can put it in a square container, or a pyramid container, or a spherical container. And you can put all those containers right next to each other, and the one with the sphere is going to have the least surface area, right? The least surface area. So it's something happening here that's just as best as possible. So what else can you do with soap bubbles? Well, I'll just show you a couple of tricks, okay? Show you a couple of tricks. So first trick here is actually the one that I had, that I practiced here with the kids. called a caterpillar. Now I'm using two antennas here. And actually can dance like this. There's a lot of fun happening here, right? I mean, not just maths. You can do other things, right? So you take big loops, go like this. Nice, right? Let's see. Oh, try this again. Just try this. It worked just a second ago. Now. Try again. No. Try again. Get it big. Can I still do it? Okay, you still want to know about the math, or shall I just go on with that? Okay, well, let's have a look at, you have 2 volumes of air and you want to enclose those with soap films. Well, you can have more fun, right? Really, really big bubbles. I'm the only mathematician with a swimming pool in this office. It's actually from Toys R Us. It's a really good one. It's got a moat, right? It's got a moat. So you blow it up, then you fill the moat with soap solution, and you've got this big ring here, then you put people inside, and you just pull it up. They don't get wet feet, and you can put them into soap bubbles. You can even put more than one person in soap bubble. Later on, I'm going to try and put some people in soap bubbles. We'll see. Okay. Now, 2 volumes of air. 2 volumes of air. So this is a double bubble. Okay, double bubble. So you've got 2 volumes of air separated here, all enclosed, and you can calculate. Well, there's kind of this straight bit here in the middle, this disc, and then you've got a dome going around, a dome going at the bottom. You just add up everything. Can you enclose 2 volumes of air any better than this? It actually turns out, but that's only been proven recently. You can't. So I mean, what other ways are there? Well, this is one, right? So there's like a donut here. There's a donut, and through the middle of the donut, you've got this other volume going through, and you can add up all the areas that you get here, and if the 2 volumes are the same, then the total area of this one here will be larger than the total area of the first one. Okay, now I've got another trick for you. Involves 2 bubbles. Try this. I've got a special instrument here. I've got a little winter wonderland here. Now let's see. Ooh, earthquake in Little Winter Wonderland. Volcano eruption. Okay, as I said, whenever soap films and soap bubbles form, they do this in the best possible way. So they always minimize area. So I've just got a wire loop here, and I can kind of just wobble it around like this. See? There's lots of surface that you can see here, but if you just let it go, it will become pretty straight, and that's actually the least you can do, right? So it's pretty obvious in this case. But with other shapes, that's not so obvious. So I've got one here, for example. So you might want to build a house, right? So that's kind of the outline of your roof, right? And, bricks are expensive. What's the best shape that uses minimum area to cover this roof outline? Well, you've got a soap film oracle. You just dip this thing inside, take it out, And that's how you should build your house. That's how you should build a house. Got a staircase too, somewhere, no. I've got a staircase there. There's a staircase, we should build a staircase like this. And that's not just theoretical, people have actually done that. And that goes back to the Munich Olympics, that was like 1980 or 82. The architects who built the Olympic Stadium, they actually used soap films to make up the roofs of the stadium. So what you have here is a model. You've got some poles sticking out, and in between the poles you've got thread. You dip the whole thing into soap solution, out comes this thing, and it looks like a roof, right? Really, really fancy roof. And then you measure this, and you build the Olympic Stadium. That's actually the swimming stadium of the Munich Olympics. And even the main stadium was built like this. So that's the main stadium. So that's all soap films. And when you kind of steal basically these people, what they've been doing here is steal the soul of soap bubbles, right? And use it for their own evil ends. And it's not only pretty, it's also very, very stable. So usually when you have like one really, really good thing happening, you've got a couple of good things happening simultaneously. So for example, in Munich, you've got lots of snow, right? So these roofs have to be very stable. If you've got a meter of snow on this, or heavy winds, it has to be very, very stable. And it is stable, and part of the reason why it is stable is because you're using these minimal surfaces. Okay, there's a couple of other views of the same stadium, so it's pretty amazing. So they've got like lots and lots of bubbles. So we've got here, it's two sheets of glass, and you blow bubbles in between, right? And you see, lots of regular things happening. So can anybody tell me, what's special about this? I mean, it's kind of a honeycomb pattern, So there's lots and lots of bubbles. There's kind of a straight thing going through. It's kind of a wall in between the two glass sheets. So we're obviously looking from the top here, and you can see a couple of regular things happening. And it's part of the soap bubble, the soil capturing business that we're doing. So let's have a look here. What you see here is there's 3 soap films coming together, 3 soap films, and they always meet 120 degrees. That's what soap films do. They always meet 120 degrees. There's always 3 that come together, never 2 or 4 or 5. It's always going to be 3, and always at 120 degrees. And if they're attached to a surface, they always attach at 90 degrees. That's what they do, always at 90 degrees. So if you jump in your soap bubble bath, right, you just jump in, and you have a really, really close look, you'll always find that there's 3 soap films coming together, and they come together at 120 degrees. They might come in curved, right, but it's still going to be 120 degrees.
How come there's a couple of pentagons there?
Well, I mean, it doesn't, like these truncated things?
Go up straight up.
Straight up.
One there just to the left.
To the
Just down.
down?
Left.
That one?
That's a pentagon.
Yeah, well, it's a bit messed up here, right? There's lots of little bubbles.
There's a few pentagons around.
Yeah, well. Well, basically what happens is, these are no longer perfectly straight, right? These are no longer perfectly straight. So you can have pentagons, you can have squares actually, you can have hexagons, it doesn't really matter. But once it's off the hexagons, it's going to be curved, right? So for example, for a square, if you had a square kind of going like this, I'm going to show you actually a square later on, there would be, the soap films would be coming in kind of in curves. Anyway. Okay, then again, I mean, you can kind of use this sort of thing to build really, really strong structures, and nature does this in other contexts. So for example, this is a dragonfly wing, and you see the way it's built? It's basically built based on these kind of minimal subdivisions of things. And in gliders, that's the kind of a supporting structure that's inside the wings. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of impossible bubbles. Are you ready for that? And that's actually one thing that I'm not going to show you, but you can do this at home. So just take a flashlight, okay? Take your Morning Fresh solution. You switch off all the lights. It helps if it's night, right? Otherwise it doesn't do anything. So at night, right? At night you switch on the lights. You switch on your flashlight, and on top of the flashlight you blow a bubble dome like this. And then you just look in from the side, and you get these amazing patterns. And it's just ordinary dish solution, right? Dishwashing solution. And there's a couple of things you can watch out for. So at first, the film might be completely clear. And what's really happening is kind of, it's a thin layer of well, there's kind of two surfaces in between, there's water. And the water drains out. The water drains out. Kind of from the top, it's very much like, you know. So first things go kind of sparse at the top, and then they go. And it's very much the same thing with soap bubbles. So they first kind of drain out at the top. And once they drain up to a certain thickness, the colors start to appear. That has something to do with the interference of light. So it has to be just the right thickness for this kind of thing to happen. And then all of a sudden you see these black dots appearing. That's kind of impending doom. So you see black dots, the thing is about to burst, right? Anyway, so a couple of things you've got to play around with. And when you've got something like this, you know, blow against it slightly and you see all kinds of whirlpools and things happening. So it's really, really nice experiment, very easy to do. Just need a flashlight for it. Solution. Okay, a couple of impossible bubbles. What I've got here is a little pyramid. It's a little pyramid. So if you've got something like this, if you don't have something like this, you can make it from straws very easily. Dip it in soap solution. Take it out. Oh. Okay, and I'm going to put something inside. So you get a little diamond shape inside. Actually, basically what you get here is a copy of what I've got outside, just with curved things around. Oh, yeah, well. Okay, and in this model you can actually see all sorts of stuff, right? So I just highlighted things a little bit. There we go. So this pyramid has six edges. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I take it out, attached to every one of those edges is a soap film that goes in the middle. Right? So there's, you see the soap film kind of going in here. There's soap film going in from the side. So the soap films meet along these edges here. There's always going to be 3 of them, from this side, from that side, from that side. So the soap films from here, here, here meet in this edge here. So 3, and they're going to be exactly 120 degrees. 120 degrees. 3 of them, no more, no less. And then of course you've got these, so there's like this one liquid edge, I call this a liquid edge. One liquid edge, and another liquid edge, and another liquid edge, and another liquid edge, and they meet in a liquid point. And if you see a liquid point in your bubble bath, it's always going to be 4 of these things coming together, and it always exactly the same angle as you see in here. It's approximately 109 degrees. So it's always going to be the same sort of thing. Okay, show you a couple more things. So I've got another model here. I've got a cube. What's going to happen if I put a cube in there? What do you think? What do you think? A square? We'll see. Okay, so I take this, take it out. You can see? So it's a square. But I can wobble it like this, and then the square is facing down. Or I can wobble it sideways. And the square is going to be this way. And now what I'll do is I'll blow a bubble inside. We have to try this again. Wasn't fast enough. Too much talking. So that's actually a cubical bubble. Pretty neat. Okay, and then you can do a bit of art if you want. You can put kind of little bubbles in the corners. But actually, you don't really need to do this this frame thing. You can also do this in mid-air. I just want to show you how to make these last 2 things in mid-air. So we're going to go for just clustering some soap bubbles together. So that's a little pyramid inside. Wasn't fast enough. That's not going to happen. Let's just try it again. As I said, I've got my excuses ready for today. I might just skip the smoke. So there's a cube now inside. I don't. Okay, good enough. Anyway, cube inside. It's usually a lot easier, but switch the air conditioning off by all means. Okay, so what else have we got? So we can do this one here. Then, when we just put this frame inside, you get a perfect square, pretty much. Blow a bubble inside, you get a cube. And then there's actually a very famous scene from a very famous movie. Does anybody recognize this? So a real expert can do it like this. Yeah, it's Dumbo. Right. Dumbo gets drunk at some point and then he can blow square bubbles. Okay. So now just a quick quiz. Okay, quick quiz. What we've got here is a couple of rules, right? So soap films always come together in threes at 120 degrees. And when they meet in threes, they form like a liquid edge, okay? The liquid edges always come together in fours. Okay. Now, what happens if I put something like this inside the soap bucket? Does something like this come out? What do you think? You think so? What do you think? Does this come out, or is this possible? Or? Yeah? Well, let's just count again, right? So there's always going to be three liquids. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's always going to be 4. It can never be anything less or more. But here it would actually be more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not possible. You can never ever see anything like this here. You can never ever see a bubble like this. You can see a bubble like that one down there. That's a very nice one. So it's all pentagons here, all the way around. It's something very beautiful in mathematics called a dodecahedron. That works again. So that works again. But if you put that in once and take it out, you'll never be able to use this again because it will all be foam and soap. And so I'm not going to do this. Okay. Now, has anybody heard of the story of Queen Dido? No? Yes? Okay, I'm going to make it up then. Makes it more interesting, right? So I'm going to invent a couple of things. So Queen Dido lived a long, long time ago. And she wasn't really interested in, ruling the country. She was more interested in maths. Well, her brother, on the other hand, was very interested in being king. So what he did was start killing everybody around her, right? So that he could be king. But Queen Dido didn't catch up on this for a while. When she did, it was actually too late. She had to kind of flee the country. So here's the world. Here's the world. There's an ocean. There's Queen Dido's country. Queen Dido's country. It's kind of a big desert here. It's actually in Africa. And well, at some point, Queen Dido just has to kind of flee the country. So she flees away and gets to another country. Ruled by a, colleague king. And, she always thought the colleague king was actually quite a nice guy. So she asked him, well, can you give me some land to put my tents on? And well, as I said, he's turned out to be quite a meanie. So he gives her this cowhide, right? Cowhide, and says, whatever you can surround with this, you can keep. Not so good, right? So you kind of put it on the ground and just not much. So you've got to be tricky. But as I said, Queen Dido was a math person. So what she actually did, she came up with a really ingenious solution. So she takes the cowhide and has just cut up into strips. And then she takes the strips and has them tied end to end into a big, huge loop. Right? And then she puts the loop on the ground. And then, she surrounds this area here. She surrounds this area. And that's definitely better than the square, right? But once you've got this loop, you still want to maximize things. What do you do? Do you put it down as a triangle? Or do you put it down as a square? Or do you just put it down? What do you do? If you want this to be as large an area as possible. Want to do a circle? We actually have a really nice soap oracle that we can ask. So here, what you've got is a copy of the country we're in. There's Queen Dido's loop. And I need somebody's dry finger. Can somebody borrow? Maybe Joshua wants to try this? Okay. Come up here. Want to climb up here? Don't kill yourself. Can you have a round of applause for our volunteer? Okay. Can you stand here? Or actually kneel here? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip this thing in soap solution. And Joshua is going to poke into the middle. Wow. Very good. We're going to try this again immediately. Aha. So why does that happen? Well, we've got a soap film forming here, right? And you've got a hole in the middle. And the soap film tries to be as small as possible, which translates into being the middle part being as large as possible, right? And that means, well, the circle should really be the largest possible thing we can do here. Okay, let's just see whether you can actually put your hand through the soap bubble. Okay, we're going to try this. So you make your hand really, and I'm going to guide the hand. Okay, let's see. Maybe we need a smaller hand, but we'll see. Let's see. Can't touch. Wow. Oh. Okay, Dudu, can we have your hand, please? Wait, not finished yet, not finished yet.
You as well.
Anu, can you just lift him up, please? Aha. So there's one aspiring mathematician here. He doesn't have a choice, right? Okay, so we put, and then we make our hand really thin and tiny and see whether we can actually fit it through. Oh, no. Okay, can we have Juju? As you see, I'm not giving up easily. Air conditioning or not, we're going to put this hand through here. Careful. Ah! Ooh. We're not. Okay. So that just saved the rest of the talk. Okay, now. You might do this. Can we stretch it really? Can we stretch it like this? Like this? Okay, now we're going to try this from the beginning. Okay, we have it still like this. Long. Oh, yes. Well, kind of got through. Well, not too bad, but let's just see whether we can actually put it really through a soap film. Okay, let's have a look at this. So is it actually possible to put your hand through a soap film? We're going to give it a try. So, what I need, Joshua, you want to try this too? Okay. So first we're going to try this on Joshua because it's dangerous, right? So it's not one of my kids, so it's all right. Can you just put your hand in there? Actually, this water I've been using since 2002. I've given this talk before, right? So there might be something living here, right? But don't worry. Okay. Now, let's just put the whole arm in. Very good. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to try and put the arm through the soap film. Let's see. So there, out comes the soap film. Let's see where you can put your arm. Let's see where you can put it through. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's see where we can get it a bit further through. We'll wet it a bit more, I think. Right? Put this arm. Okay, ready? All in the name of fun, you know. Okay. Going. Oh, I missed the spot. Wait, I missed the spot. It's all drying up really fast here, so we have to be very quick. Sorry, Joshua. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Now, let's try to be quick. Get through as fast. Oh, no, doesn't go any further. Okay, thank you very much, volunteers. Oh, you want to shake the other hand that's still dry? Okay, thank you very much. One of you wants to try it? Okay, one of you, let's just do, no, Judo first. Judo first, come on. Quick, hand inside, it's a shorter arm, should be easier. Okay, shorter arm. Okay, one more time. All the way, yes. Okay. Okay. Very good. Volunteers, can you go back this way, stairs, and then you can help with something else to do, okay? Ready. Thank you very much. Can we all go downstairs, please? No. Later. Downstairs, please. Okay.